Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Hope you're having a good one. What's good, what's good, what's good? So we have a lot going on actually. The market is looking down, or at least the crypto market's looking down. I think it's going to pop back up, but we'll see. It's usually sell off on Fridays. So, there's that good news. I'm not seeing headway being made in this country's longest shutdown. It's a stupid shutdown. They should get back to work. Mike Johnson needs to do his job. We're hurting a lot of bags with this shutdown. Something else that I noticed, that supposed deal with China. Yeah, I don't think there's a deal. Fatima in his house, Grand Risings. So I don't know that there was actually a deal as much as there was maybe a truce, right? You have announcements by NVIDIA that, yeah, we're not sending over any Blackwell chips, blah, blah, blah. China's urging its companies to buy chips internally, like from Huawei, even though they might be of lesser quality, at least they have access and they will be of higher quality, most likely than the chips that they would be able to get from NVIDIA, or NVIDIA, however you pronounce that stupid freaking name. So there's a lot of stuff going on right there. So that's what I'm looking at. And I still stick to my guns. I think that is the second that the U.S. government reopens, that's going to be the second that we're going to get stimulus into the country. I don't mean by them, injecting money. I mean just by now having the government actually freaking working, doing their damn jobs, right? We have over 150,000 people in October pounding the pavement because they lost their jobs. And truth be told, if we're closed for that much longer, maybe we need to replace Congress. I know that can't happen, but if we're closed for that much longer, maybe we need to replace Congress. I know that can't happen, but while they're still sitting. But if you're not going to be able to do your job, or maybe there's one person that needs to lose his job, right? Because so many people are being affected. What are they, like on the 38th day or something like that? This is ridiculous. This is utterly ridiculous. And then they have the audacity, the one thing that's keeping the government closed, they actually come out and say, we're not going to consider healthcare. Healthcare is one of the country's biggest freaking problems. And you're not going to consider a vote on healthcare. Good job. That's affecting people right now. So a few days after healthcare letters go out and people receive their new, whopping freaking pricing for healthcare, you guys decide that you're going to say, we're not going to consider it. You may not get a vote on healthcare, even if we open up the government. What? You got one job. You've got one job to protect the people of the United States. You're not doing your job. So maybe there are two people, one in Congress, and one in the House and one in the Senate that need to lose their jobs, because that's not the job. That is absolutely not the job. I'm thinking that now we actually need to have rules and regulations with people that serve the government that say, you know what, there's certain jobs where you're not allowed to buy and sell stocks. Guess what? Nobody's allowed to buy and sell stocks. Nobody should have that ability. Nobody in government should be able to buy crypto, sell crypto, make money from crypto. If this is what it's going to be, if lawmakers make more money being out of work than they do doing their job, that shouldn't be the case. Insider trading, having access to all this information, it's legal insider trading. Be done. Be done with that nonsense. Because maybe if they were focused on doing the job, they wouldn't be so focused on growing their pockets. I want you to look at the number of people that go into government, go into the federal government from a lawmaker perspective, senators, representatives. Look at them. Look how many people go in broke, maybe just doing okay, to coming out millionaires. Coming out millionaires. And I'm gonna tell you now, you'll be surprised who's not on that list. There's got to come a point where the people that we send to Washington need to remember where they come from. And I don't need to agree with them. They just need to remember where they come from. Have the common sense to say that where I come from, healthcare is a problem. Insurance is a problem. Housing is a problem. Crime may or may not be a problem. Drugs may or may not be a problem. Noise pollution. Large companies getting discounts on energy because that's the way it currently works, while everybody else subsidizes those discounts. We need people that are going to do their jobs. And there are two people that are stopping them from doing their jobs. That needs to be like done. Yeah, I'm sorry. I normally don't talk about political stuff, but this is affecting people's bags so much. I mean, it's ridiculous. People are losing jobs. People are trying to figure out how to put food on the table. People are standing on food lines. Oh, but we're the richest country in the world, right? But I've got people who would normally have a job that are on food lines. Are you kidding me? We don't have universal health care, but the countries that we give money to do. This is mind blowing. It's absolutely mind blowing. Now I'm done. Let's get to the news. So Federal Reserve Governor Stephen Miran publicly supported a December rate cut despite internal Fed disagreement. There were tons of disagreements. They don't have the data. How are you going to make a decision on data? No, sleep on that and wait until the government opens up and you actually get your data. And by the way, I mean, data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Yeah, that's labor and statistics. Yeah, that's going to be questionable. That's going to be questionable. Something else affecting our bags? All of these food problems that we're having. Yeah, food problems. Did you know there was a healthcare, a listeria outbreak? Oh, yeah. 6 people died. 6 souls that are no longer with us. Because I don't know, we decided that we're going to cut our food laws and cut the staff that manage those laws. Yeah, but we don't care anymore. So we're seeing an increasing number of recalls, an increasing number of problems. A listeria outbreak? Are you serious? Yeah, good luck. ASIC chair Joe Longo warned that Australia is falling behind in tokenization. Yeah, it's touted to be a $35.8 billion tokenization of assets and projected $16 trillion market by 2030. And let me tell you something. I think that's a modest number because everything in their mama can be tokenized. You know how you have insurance in your house and they tell you to itemize certain things in your house that, you would need to replace because the house itself can be replaced, but you also need to itemize everything that's in there. What's going to happen to the insurance industry when you can just slap that on the blockchain? Makes it easier, right? Means that insurance systems, which are some of these companies, the certain insurance systems are like decades old, would run at least a little bit more efficiently. There are a lot of things that current day technology can help. Right? There's a lot. Yeah, it seems like you're trying to pimp a coin, so we're just gonna whack that right now. And if you do it again, we'll just block you from the channel. We don't come here and try to pimp out coins. That's not what we do. So we're gonna remove that. We don't play those kind of games here. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. But we don't try to shill coins. We don't shill coins. We shill knowledge. We try to share knowledge with each other. We try to help each other grow our bags. But we don't shill coins. It's not what we do. Nope. If you hear me talk about a coin, it's because I believe in that coin, and I'm sharing with you why I believe in that coin. But I'm not just blindly, oh, you should buy this coin. It's going to be big. That's not what we do. No worries. I appreciate it. That's why on that one, I just removed that one. Right? So hopefully we learn that this community is like no other community. The Grow My Bag community is amazing. You have no idea how many times I'll sit here and have a question about something, and I will literally ask that question of the community so I can continue the show. And within usually like 5 or 10 seconds, and I'm not kidding, usually within 5 or 10 seconds, I've got the answer and I can share that with the whole community. That's kind of cool. That is mad cool. So I can do that at any time. Something else that we have, membership. We have the big baggers, and we have a private video conference call between all the big baggers on the second Sunday of every month. This month it will be this coming Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're not a big bagger and you want to get in, you will absolutely need to be a big bagger to get in on that call. And let me explain to you what a big bagger is not. A big bagger is not necessarily somebody who just has a lot of money. No, it's not about how much bags you have. It's how much you care about your bags. You understand what I'm saying? Whether you have a bag or not, it's how much you care about your bags. It's how much you want to grow your knowledge. And we talk about all things investing in business, real estate, just everything, not just crypto, not just stocks, bonds, options. We talk about everything in the investment space. And that's what makes being a big bagger like mad cool. Ask Fatima. Fatima is a big bagger. Again, it's not about how much you have in terms of wealth. It's about how much you have and how much you want to have. Big difference. Massive big difference. What's up next? I have so much news. It's not even funny. I mean, I have like 20 different points that I have to make, and I'm not going to make it all. Actually, this looks like 25. I'm not going to make it all. South Korea is responding to North Korea's sanctions, followed by U.S. actions targeting cryptocurrency theft linked to weapons financing by North Korea. Binance founder CZ's attorney has accused Senator Elizabeth Warren of spreading objectively false claims about his presidential pardon, and apparently has served her papers. I don't know how that's going to work out because she's a U.S. senator, and there are certain protections afforded to sitting politicians. Not to mention, she said that I've got receipts. She's coming with information from the DOJ. Aha. This is what I'm talking about. So that's going to be interesting to see if that actually plays out. I think he's grasping at straws. If he had half a brain, just walk away from that. Just walk away from that. That's literally what I would do, is walk away from that. You're going after, Senator Warren, and that's going to leave a bad taste in the mouth to other senators, even the ones that support you. That would be a stupid move. CZ, walk away. Take the high road, walk away. No matter how it looks in the street, just walk away. That would be my suggestion to him. You can be as mad as you want, but it would be really smart to walk away. From a business perspective, it'd be really smart just to let that one go, buddy. There's no winning there. There's no winning there. Because it'll be, multi-billion-dollar dude decides to go after, a sitting senator for speaking her mind, which is her job, by the way. That's why there are protections. So yeah, I don't think that's going to bode well. I don't think that's going to bode well at all. But that's just me. Know what I mean? What else do we have? We've got Tether expanding its Bitcoin reserves by 1.1 billion, making it the 6th largest Bitcoin holder. That's actually a good thing. Schwab reported 45% of their ETF investors right now plan on investing in crypto ETFs. Again, I'm telling you about how we have crypto ETFs that are sitting there waiting for the government to reopen. Our first pop will come from the government reopening, because it'll be, wow, you people decided to work. Yay! Yay, you decided to do your jobs. That's awesome. Next step will come from that slew of ETFs that have been sitting there ready to rock. They'll start flying out the door. So we're talking late November, early December. They'll just fire off. They will just start firing off. So, and then you have to stop and think about this. A few of those ETFs have filed to add addendums, filed to add additional things to those ETFs including staking. So imagine you buy into an ETF. You don't really know crypto the way we do. You buy into an ETF because it's safe and you can earn staking from that ETF. What? Do you know how many new people that's going to bring to the crypto space? And there's your trifecta. It's the attraction of new blood, new liquidity into the space. That's just me, but I think those are three things that are going to be good. Now, will that blast through 2026? I don't think so. I think we have a few things that we have to work out before we hit, before we call 2026, positive. I still think that I can see some negative in 2026. But if we can get the government back to work, those ETFs out the door, I think we can finish this year quite strong. Quite strong. Right? We still have to tackle healthcare. We still have to tackle insurance problems around the country. We still have to tackle real estate around the country. We still have to tackle food prices around the country. There's a lot. And then there's that AI bubble. Even Michael Burry has a short against AI companies. Why? Because I believe he's right. I believe that the way the technology is going right now, there is an AI bubble. Why? Because you think you can get more out of something that you might be able to get more, but you're going to need humans. This whole human in the loop process. So you might win on, diminishing the number of tasks that you have because AI and automation can diminish some of those tasks. But again, I spent last night talking about how I'm looking down the road, how I'm extrapolating from the data that I already have to see the new world happening right in front of us. We have to do the same thing when it comes to AI. The way AI is working, the way I see it, we're going to have more and more technology in the hands of normal people, which diminishes the need to have so many huge data centers drawing down so much power, so much natural water to keep everything cool that, don't need that. Don't need that. So that AI bubble, that's going to be a problem. It's a bubble when Sam Altman's trying to work with China to we're going to help China. No, China's helping you because that's where a lot of the smart people went. They came here, got educated, went back home to China, and now they're banging it out. The local LLMs that you can run on your computers, the best ones are out of China. I can tell you that right now. So let's pay attention. Let's get it right. What else do we have? We've got Block Inc. taking a 12% dump. Why? Because their Q3 earnings were not good. That's, I think, 3 or 4 quarters in a row that they haven't shown anything good, but they are projecting that they will do better in the future. Oops. Do you think there will be a revolt or protest because of loss of jobs due to AI? No. Learn new skills, folks. Learn new skills. That's going to be a part of it. The same way that when Microsoft came out with Microsoft Office and all those things came easy to to people and they could learn this stuff. Same thing. There's a new tool. Go learn it. Simple as that. How can you figure out how in your space where you would normally have a job, how AI and automation can help or hurt, and then learn how you can add that to your resume, add that to your knowledge and use it to your ability, to your advantage rather. That's how I think that's going to go. Citigroup warned of growing market risks as Bitcoin takes a dive. Yes, I know that already. But to me, those aren't risks. Those are opportunities. Why? Because all the guardrails, all of the rails that everything's going to run on are being built out. I keep pointing to MasterCard. MasterCard's got a deal on the table that if they close, it's going to completely turn the industry, finance on its ear, all of finance. And do you think with MasterCard doing what it's doing, that Visa's not going to turn around and do something similar? So be ready for, I'm thinking, could be a huge injection of retail investors coming into the crypto market simply because it's there. They're not going to be able to avoid it. Right? You're going to have stores accepting crypto. Why? because they accept MasterCard. I'm telling you, if MasterCard closes this deal, it'll be as easy as that. You'll see that happen within 12 to 18 months. You'll walk into a store and they'll be like, oh yeah, we can take crypto. Because it's there. Because it's there. Do you know how many accounts MasterCard would be able to flip from regular credit card accounts to credit card / crypto accounts? Like that. You're talking about a massive possibility of influx into this space and a massive opportunity for people to step up. I keep telling everybody, you need to invest to survive. Because the people that have are looking at the have-nots and they're still saying, I need to amass more, because they cannot define enough. When will it be enough? You're sitting on billions. Billions. You know, I've said this before. My son had a school assignment. And the school assignment was, you have $1 billion. You must spend every penny of that $1 billion. And there were rules as to how you could spend that money. Like you could only buy but so much real estate, so many of this, so many of that. Think of it as like Brewster's Millions, right? Go watch that movie. It's a stupid slapstick movie, but it's Richard Pryor in it. You know, what's his name? John Candy. But it was funny. But when you look at Brewster's Millions, that's exactly what my son's assignment was. And then he realized, holy moly, I mean, you could only donate, but so much too. There were rules on how you could spend that money. And let me tell you something. My son was like, wow, do you see how hard it is to spend $1 billion? I said, yeah, right? Imagine the kind of life you could have if you had $1 billion. Wow. And I really want you to sit back and think about something. And right now we're talking about one man having the possibility of becoming the first trillionaire. Not billionaire, not millionaire, trillionaire. Let that wash over you for a moment. So when is enough enough? What is the definition of enough? That I can eat as much as I want, I can travel as much as I want, I can drive a halfway decent car. I don't need a Maybach. I mean, I love my Mercedes, but I don't need a Maybach. Just a nice car, a nice house. I already have a nice house, have a nice car. My kids not to want for food or anything else. Just that's enough. That really is enough. Do you know that $50 million could be enough for a lot of people? Did you know that $1 million could be enough for a lot of people? Again, I still go back to healthcare. Richest country in the world. We don't have universal healthcare. Israel does. Israel does. Other countries do. Why don't we? But we're the richest country in the world. Why don't we have that? Interesting. Those people need their money. No, I don't believe in stripping people of their money, but I do believe in not allowing those people to hide their funds, which means that they are allowed to, hide their money so they don't have to pay taxes on it. Again, when is enough enough? We need to change those laws, and we need people in government that are willing to change those laws that are not being bought by those same people, those same companies. A company should not get a tax write-off just because they're bringing jobs to an area. No, those days are over. You're going to have to exist somewhere. So wherever you exist, you're going to have to pay taxes. No more discounts. No more discounts. Those discounts have never worked for the regular person. As a matter of fact, those discounts cost the regular people more. Do the math. This isn't conjecture. Do the math. Those large companies get discounts. Other people have to subsidize those discounts one way or another. Just saying. Just saying. Anyway, you know what we should do? That's right. We should get into the numbers. I know, because I have so much more news. So much more news. I might have to hit that tonight during Friday Night Flips. Let's see how this works out. All right, who do we have coming out? Constellation Energy, KKR, Duke, Duke Energy. Let's see. Franklin Resources, Dillard's, retail. Yeah, no. So we have a good amount of companies that are coming out with some stuff. So yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. U.S. stock market, Dow futures implied open 130 points down. S&P futures implied open 21.75 points down. And NASDAQ futures implied open 110 points down. Again, Friday is usually a sell day to begin with. So I'm not freaking out. I'm not freaking out. It is what it is. Oil up 0.55. U.S. 10-year up 0.002. Then you've got fear and greed index back down to 24. So extreme fear. Don't be fearful. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. Don't have fear. Have hope, because that represents opportunity. Just saying. DeFi Llama, we've got $130.753 billion in total value locked. A couple of weeks ago, we were $30 billion more in total value locked. Yeah, let that wash over you a little bit. We've got Bitcoin fighting to stay above 400. Look how far we've come down. We're damn near in my previous band, which is 93,434 to 99,655. We've touched that lower band a couple of times. See right here? We've touched that lower band a couple of times. We just touched it again right here. And look at that 200-day moving average. The yellow is the 20. The orange is 200. We need to pop that back up. And again, I think that once the government decides that they want to do their job for the people, we're going to have a slew of ETFs that'll come out. Those are two major catalysts right there. Then you've got reports by, I just said who it was. See, I'm going to have to go back to my notes because I done already forgot. That's a pain in the tail. Charles Schwab saying that 45% of their ETF investors right now want to invest in crypto ETFs. Imagine. Yeah, sometimes I got to go back to my notes because I'm like, I've got so much trapped up in here that I have to figure out ways to recall it all. I was happy I could recall that much. But yeah, so you're looking at ETFs exploding. If you actually do your own research, you'll notice that money flowing into mutual funds has plummeted compared to ETFs. Yeah. Imagine that. What else do we have? Looking at the big board, if it would. There you go. Don't need this. Looking at the big board, so many opportunities. I can't even get into how far. If you're into Zebek, you're into Zek or whatever it is, go do some research. I haven't done my research on that, but it's been going up while other things have been going down. Same thing for Zcash, same thing for Dash. But I have my long-term winners, and I have the ones that are giving me enough volatility where I can try to play the ups and downs. So far, it's been working out for me with Aster, right? I'm expecting there to be a down, and I don't know when the government's going to come back, and I'm hoping that I catch it when the government opens up. I'm hoping that the market was down and I was able to get in, because now that down where I was able to get in is going to shoot beyond where I had been making my call to make money. My call was around 10 to 20%. My call was about 10 to 20%. So the past 3 days, I've made 20% one day, 30% one day. Throughout the year, I've played volatility to make a couple of extra bucks, because my theory is if I can do that 10 times, I can double my money. That's the idea. Fatima have been watching my Aster, right? Well, it's not my Aster. It's just one that I got this trick from a guy that I met when I used to work at mail.com. Yeah, it's a really old company. And his name was Neil. So Neil had found a stock that had given him volatility, and he was doing the same exact thing. He studied and studied and studied that one asset, and he got comfortable being able to call when that asset was gonna do its thing. I mean, he eventually had to give it up, but he was able to ride that thing out all the way to the point where he was able to extract not just his money from that game, right? But also massive profit while leaving money in to continue playing. Yeah, kind of cool. But you've got to do deep research. That's why I keep telling you every day, do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately every day. This isn't oh, I'll just do everything on Friday. No, you'll miss a lot. You will miss a lot. You do it every day, every single day. Instead of running your mouth, instead of doom scrolling, you sit there and you do some doggone research and better yourself. This is why I say Grow My Bag community is completely different. It's completely different. We're trying to drive each other to do better for ourselves. It's not just some talking head wagging his finger and you just sit there listening. It's an interactive thing. And for big baggers, you know how interactive it is. And by the way, next week we plan on relaunching the site and it's going to be even better than what it is now. Oh, yeah. We've got services on there. We're going to have classes. I mean, classes are going to come a little bit later, but we've got a whole bunch of stuff that are going to be on there that will just move faster, be better, help you get to information faster. That's the idea. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. Hope you like what I'm doing. If you do me a favor, smash the likes, tell your friends about us, and absolutely become a member if you can. Why? Because membership has its benefits. Becoming a subscriber is awesome because at least you're watching the show. But remember, whatever I'm talking about, the team has actually published an article that gives a little bit more detail about what's going on. Not only that, but the social media platform that we have for Grow My Bag, that's where the community can get together even when there's not a show going on. Just saying. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And as always, thank you for your trust. I will fight for that every single day. I'm not perfect, but I strive to be. Everybody have a great day. I'll see you tonight on Friday Flips, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.